after a night of hanging out like young people.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I went home and I started eating my no hangover pills and took my liquid IV. That is standard protocol now that I am in my fancy 40s.
Oh, nice.
That's what I have to do to survive.
Good job. I did not do that. We came home and I played Helldivers with the husband. It's that stupid video game that I said I was referencing when I was talking about the Ngannou knockout.
I didn't understand at all.
Yeah, it was a pretty sad ordeal, but the way that Anthony Joshua hit him, it looked like this stratagem that you can order down, and it's an orbital rail strike, and it just zaps the biggest guy in the arena out of existence. It just like, if it's a tank, if it's an armored guy, if it's one of those big bugs, it just, and that's what Joshua did to poor Francis Ngannou. Did you watch that fight?
I got to see the highlight of the knockout repeatedly everywhere I looked. That was on a loop everywhere. Yeah, they love a heavyweight knockout.
Yeah.
And I just heard what happened in the first round and the second round. So it was.
Yeah. And I think the boxing community was kind of like super excited just because he had done what he did to Tyson Fury. They're just like, ha, got your back. We're still on top when it comes to MMA versus boxing in boxing.
Yeah. It's the crossover fights are just challenging.
It's super hard.
It's I understand why they're happening. I think it's a great opportunity for MMA fighters to make money, especially more money than they could possibly make in MMA in any organization.
Yeah.
Boxing has the market on, big paying fights, so I understand it. It's just it's not fair.
It's not fair.
It's not. And I hate saying that because I sound like a whiner, but I mean I come in the fucking cage and see how you do. You know, I feel like that should be in every contract with the crossover. It's mandatory. So if I'm going to go into a boxing ring, it is mandatory that the opponent come and do an MMA match. It's the only way these happen. That's a clause that I would want in that contract.
Yeah, but how likely would that happen? I feel like that was supposed to happen with Conor and Floyd Mayweather. They joked about it happening. They flirted with the idea, but I think Mayweather did one kickboxing class, one grappling grappling day.
Ow, why does this hurt so much?
Private grappling session, like the kind that Zuckerberg does, and he was still like, nah.
And about that life. Yeah.
I don't like being on the floor, bro.
And it was supposed to happen with Diaz and Paul. They, flirted with the idea of having one.
I forgot about that.
In PFL. And I doubt that will ever happen. Oh my God. I'm sorry.
Hey, you're still here.
Jesus, God.
We hear you.
Okay.
We hear you. You just don't
I don't
hear
myself. Okay.
We'll fix it up.
Okay. So yeah, that was supposed to happen with Paul and Diaz. That's not working well. Now it is. Don't. No. Touch it. Okay. Don't touch it. Nope. Stop.
Don't touch it?
Don't.
Oh, okay. You're giving me mixed signals. You're like, touch it. I was like, dude, no wonder you're single. You said touch it.
I said don't.
You said touch it 3 times. The don't was silent.
That means don't.
We got video replay. I'm like, I feel bad for all your exes right now. I'm like, dude, how did you know what she wanted?
Listen, I wasn't the problem. All right.
Okay.
I was never the problem.
It's okay, guys.
I was never the problem. My picker's the problem.
Your picker?
My picker.
Oh, who's that? Isn't that you?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
My picker is the problem. She has terrible taste.
I never heard that before. But yeah, that'll damn you for sure.
Oh, it has.
It's the worst.
Repeatedly.
Sometimes you just got to tell them to shut up, take a back seat.
Yeah.
And then you end up married for 20 years.
One can hope. Yeah. I'm just, it is what it is.
No,
it is what it is. I guess I'm still learning.
Yeah.
And growing.
Well, you can't pick who you love, but you can pick who you fight sometimes. And that's what Francis Ngannou got to do. And, people can shame him or try to talk shit or whatever, but he is rolling in dough.
He can retire.
He is. We were talking about the Scrooge McDuck, and he can Scrooge McDuck for life right now.
Do whatever he wants. Good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
Absolutely good for him.
Might have a little headache, but it's all right. It happens.
It's all right. Just, wipe your tears with your big wad of fucking cash and your swimming pool full of money.
Yes, they need to do that Dave Chappelle gif where he has like the money and he's like, They need to do that with Francis Ngannou.
Exactly. No, good for him. On. Good for him.
Yeah.
And he holds himself so well in victory and defeat. So he's one of those guys that I like to get behind. I want to support. I want to cheer for him. Win, lose. He has my respect. And I think a lot of people share that sentiment.
Yeah. I love what he said in his post-fight press conference. Someone asked him, like, did it hurt? Like that, how bad was that punch? Did it hurt? And he was like, it didn't hurt at all. I don't remember. And he's just like, that's how you know it was a knockout. Because I didn't feel it at all, so it didn't hurt. What can I say? I love that. I love that he's able to joke about that. So on to the next bag of money. You think he's going to do MMA after that? Or you think another big boxing match? Because he could. I always thought that if Tyson Fury were to like get a win, or even if no matter what happens with his next fight, he can kind of campaign for the rematch just to take that off of his record. And it's not on his record because he won, but just to take that embarrassment off of, like, wipe the slate clean. Because everyone's trying to make the storyline that he didn't train that hard for the fight. He didn't take Francis Ngannou seriously, and that's why he lost, because he went in out of shape.
Yeah, the way that they match boxing fights is a little bit different than the way they do MMA. They, like, one fight doesn't necessarily cancel out the desire to see another fight.
Right.
Like, I don't think it hurts Ngannou's like case because he got knocked out. Right. I think that it's still a viable match because of, the back and forth with it and how well he did. So yeah, I could see them wanting to do it again. Why wouldn't they want to do it if they can make a ton of money? Yeah. Although Tyson Fury, says he can retire and buy airports and, whatever else he needs. So I think it just depends on his motivation and, what kind of legacy he wants to lead. But I wouldn't mind seeing Ngannou in a boxing match. I would love to see him in MMA again. I just, it just depends. I feel like he can just call his shot right now and do whatever he wants to do and do nothing if he wants to do that.
Yeah. I think after that crazy knockout, he might want to sit out for a little bit, especially because that crazy hard-hitting Brazilian dude, Porier, that guy knocked out Ryan Bader in like 20 seconds. So that might not be the most fun matchup to come off of a violent knockout like that.
I mean, I would, if I was his coach, his promoter, his manager, whoever else, I would absolutely recommend some time off.
Chill.
Go on vacation, or a few of them,
Spend some of those millions you just made.
Go buy a yacht and go around island. The world once. Yeah. Just do something, just chill, because, head injuries are a serious deal. And we talk about it often about, we don't necessarily know how long the effects last, but we do know that once you get knocked out badly, it tends to keep happening.
Yeah, and that was the first time that's happened to him. So in his entire career, heavyweight, MMA, boxing, first time he's ever been dropped like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was the first time in like training too, because sometimes a violent knockout like that, you don't even really know what happened. And he kind of seemed like surprised.
Yeah, I'm sure that it was shocking and jarring, especially if he hadn't, experienced that in any other time in his life. So I hope he, takes the loss as well as we think he is. And I think that, he has a lot of room to just, relax and enjoy what he's done for himself in this short period of time.
Yeah. So speaking of a big bag of money, UFC raked it in this weekend with the Miami box office. I think it was the highest in Miami and maybe Did they say highest gate in UFC history, or just like one of the top 4, something like that? But they were just saying that it was like the highest gate, equal to Madison Square Garden.
Wow,
I remember them saying that.
That is really impressive.
So yeah, that's a lot of money that they raked in this weekend. And
well, that's probably why they were so generous with the performance bonuses.
Yeah, they gave everyone $50K.
Yes.
Thanks.
Wow, so nice.
A fraction of the gate.
Yeah.
No, it's good though, because I think the more things like this happen, the higher that ceiling gets for everyone on the card, not just the top earners, not just like the Sean O'Malley's, the big stars like that. But a lot of it was due to Sean O'Malley's stardom. And even though he got that kind of favorable matchup upbringing, the big push with the UFC, he really did rise to the occasion in this Cheeto fight.
I think he did. So I picked him in our Duelbits picks for who was going to win, not because I necessarily wanted him to win, but
you don't want Sean O'Malley to.
I'm sorry.
Do his mumble rap white boy thing and wear pink shorts and dance all over and the legacy of
pom-pom for a jacket. No, and then speak badly about women. No, absolutely not.
You sure?
I'm very sure. My heart was with Cheeto, but I just thought that the way Cheeto had been showing up and fighting, and the way O'Malley has been showing up and fighting, I just thought that O'Malley would get the decision, which he did. I didn't want to be right about that, though.
Yeah, I really felt like O'Malley had been given these kind of weird wins in the same way Aljo was, really. Like, he had that weird win with Porier with DQ, and then he won a super close split decision, and then again he won a super close split decision against Cejudo. So I felt like Aljo was kind of on borrowed time too, just because he wasn't getting those big devastating knockouts, those quick finishes like he was on the come up to getting the belt. And O'Malley kind of had that, only he didn't have to fight as much and he didn't have to fight as many ranked people. He was able to get that weird win over Porier, get that weird DQ over, or not over, but just a no contest with Munoz, Pedro Munoz, and then the Aljo fight. I might just be an Aljo fan, but
early
look
stoppage.
Like
Early stoppage.
I wanted this. That's what I saw. That's what I saw. He was building up. The ref had what was it? Cigarettes and liquor on his breath.
Well, it should have been Dan Mergliotta, because he was letting people die out there yesterday.
Oh my goodness! Can you imagine?
Yeah, it should have been Mergliotta.
Yeah, let him build up and get punched in the back of the head. He's fine.
He's fine.
He's a
Give
champion.
him a minute just to make sure he's not dead yet.
Yeah, let him convulse on the ground.
Jesus,
that's what he would want as a fighter. So let it happen.
Yeah, just let us die.
Especially when the belt's on the line, you know.
Absolutely, you have earned the opportunity and the privilege to
go out on your shield.
Exactly what I was gonna say.
Blow up.
Yes,
it's like when I'm swarmed by bugs and helldivers, and I just unload all of my grenades to take out the swarm for the team before they call me back in. But
you're a nerd.
Cheeto, on the other side of that, I felt like he had a lot more wars. He had a lot more tough challenges, and he was still able to win most of them except for the Corey Sandhagen fight. So that's why I felt like, okay, even though Cheeto hasn't been starching people every time, he has had a couple big wins, and he's been fighting tougher competition. But I really felt like the weight of the opportunity was on him, especially in the first couple of rounds. Like the difference between the 5th round and then the first 3 was crazy to me. Mm-hmm. And I think it was just his approach. Maybe he was, kind of taken aback by just the opportunity, by the weight of it, by the fact that he's been waiting, by the fact that he's been watching this guy who he beat get all the accolades that he felt like he should have. I think it's really easy once you finally get to the top and you finally get that opportunity to just kind of be blinded by the lights. And I felt like that was happening a little bit just with how he was approaching. Like he was a little more stiff. He wasn't closing the distance as much. He wasn't hitting angles or moving his head as much as he usually does. And I know he usually has that kind of tight style where he closes and walks him down, but I felt like he was just a little hesitant in this fight compared to the other ones.
I can see how you saw, like, why you feel that way. I've always seen Cheeto as more of like a slow starter, kind of like Jan does.
Yeah.
He needs to like get a couple rounds, so 5 rounds can be favorable to him. But just the way he was fighting, he's been throwing more like big, like one big shot, and O'Malley was coming back with range and volume and moving so much that I just feel like that's where he was going to get ahead of Cheeto, and he did.
Yeah, it was like all of his big moments came when he just kind of threw caution to the wind.
Yes.
It was just like, you know what, fuck it. And he went forward and he threw big and he threw longer combinations. And those are the moments where he really started getting something going. But I think the hesitation is what caused the wobbles in the first few rounds.
Yep.
Like that big knee came because he wasn't committing. He wasn't pushing O'Malley back. And, O'Malley's good at fighting off of the back foot, but once he really put that pressure on, you could see like, oh, okay, this is how you would want to beat him if he were to do it again. So I'm interested to see if they ever do a third fight, but something tells me if that happens, it won't be for the belt.
There's not going to be for a while.
There's a lot of people in line.
Yeah.
And a lot of bad matchups in line, too, to fight O'Malley.
For sure. Next one coming up.
Merab.
Fingers crossed. Oh my God. He's not my boy, but he's my boy.
He's my boy. He's our boy.
I don't know him. I've never met him, but he's my boy.
I've met him a few times and he was just so freaking nice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are you so nice to me? Like you're treating me like I'm a celebrity, like a bigger celebrity than you are. And you're like the guy. So he's definitely really cool. And I love like what he's been doing in the media. His last fight was phenomenal against the judo. Got a little hurt, but just didn't care. And I think that's how you have to fight O'Malley, because O'Malley is on this level where he does not give a fuck. Like he got up there so fast. He believes in the shit that he talks 100%. So much. And I think that's such a superpower. And it doesn't really hurt you until you fight someone who's technically better, who also doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And that's what Merab is. And I think if he doesn't get hurt on the charge, he's just going to mop the floor of him. But the fight has to happen. There's always a puncher's chance. O'Malley has really good just sniping ability on the come in. He can make people not want to charge in. I just feel like Merab's style, the pressury style that he usually brings to the table, will shut someone down. If he could shut down Jose Aldo with that, I feel like he could shut down Sean O'Malley.
No, I agree. I think that Merab's tenacity and his pressure, his relentlessness, he may have to kind of take a few shots, but once he gets in there, he's going to be on O'Malley. And I don't think we've seen O'Malley be very impressive off of his back or on the ground, maybe in some scrambles and stuff like that. But I think Merab, of course, is going to have the ability to capitalize with the wrestling, with the ground and pound, and just the pressure. I feel like once he gets into the pocket, once he gets past that range, it's gonna be his fight.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I've felt bad though, because he kind of got snubbed.
I saw that. Why did they do him like that too? They put it out there.
In O'Malley's defense, he looked kind of fucked up. Like he looked.
He was also wearing really dark glasses.
He was wearing really dark glasses. He had a boot on, like yours. He was booted up. He had a cast on his arm. He was just trying to get to the next spot so he could get home. And Merab waltzes up and he's wearing a little pink suit. You know, he wore that because he saw the shorts. He was
of
like,
course.
Oh, let me go get a pink suit for O'Malley. It'll be like when I stole his jacket. And he grabbed him. He was like, hey, congratulations, brother. When can we fight? And he's like, oh, hey. He didn't. I don't know if I believe him or not, but it was definitely a good way to kind of throw shade at the call out.
Yeah, for sure.
I would have been sad.
I don't think Merab cares. I don't think he's too cool
cares.
To care.
He's too cool to care. I'm just saying, I personally would have been like, acknowledge me. Notice me, champ. Notice me. But
he'll notice him in the cage.
He will. And he did, even though his post-fight speech, he was saying that he wanted to fight Porier in Spain. He did acknowledge that Merab might be next.
He needs to be next. Like, come on.
I don't like. That's what I wanted to ask you. Actually, what do you think about the champ fights? Because Porier also was calling out Islam Makhachev. So it's like, bros.
Yeah, chill out, defend your belt, and then we'll talk. In my opinion. But again, I'm not the boss. I'm not a matchmaker. I'm not, seeing what those numbers can necessarily do. I just know me as a fan. I want to see people fight for their own belt.
Yeah. Because
the crossover stuff, or not the crossover, but like
the champ fights.
Yeah, those kind of fights just they back up the division. Yeah. For people who have earned that spot, who are waiting. And I want to see those fights.
Yeah, there's a log jam at the front of the line for bantamweight, especially. Yeah. And so many people haven't fought Porier yet at 145. It's like, dude, just fight the next guy in line.
Yeah, let it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to.
Eventually, I think that would be a really cool fight to make, but I just want to see a little bit more from each champ before we get to that.
Yeah, Islam Makhachev's first title defense was against Volkanovski.
Yeah, come on.
It's crazy the way that these champ fights are working out. It's almost like if they like you as a champion, then you can do a champ fight.
Yeah, for sure.
Because then even if you lose, you still keep your belt. And that's the obvious reason.
That's the loophole.
That's the obvious reason all these guys want it. They're not offering to fight lower or like to go down. They want to move up, have that excuse of, oh, well, I'm the smaller guy, and then still keep their belt and be able to defend it, still bring home money, still get pay-per-view points too. I think, right? If you're challenging but you're a champion, you get pay-per-view points, right?
You freaking should.
Yeah, I think so. We're going to have to ask Brian about that.
He would know.
I'm curious. But yeah, it's a good business move. And you can't be mad at the good business move. But I do feel bad for the people who don't get a chance to at least fight for the belt, have to wait. Merab already waited for so long because of his boy having the belt. So I feel like he deserves it this year.
Yes, 100%.
And if that doesn't happen, if the champ fight does happen, he'll probably be waiting until next year to fight for the belt.
Yeah.
Lame. What did you think of O'Malley's pink pants? Were you jealous?
No, I was not.
No.
It's
I was a little jealous.
Bubblegum pink.
Not of the color, but just the choice.
So yeah, and I mean, so you have O'Malley, who's the champ, who gets pink trunks, and then you have Thug Nasty, who gets camo, who's not the champ, who hasn't been in title contention picture, but he still gets camo. So I'm just like,
he's just a lovable critter. A lovable Duck Dynasty looking.
Yeah, so you just I
want Kunte shorts, Kunte cloth shorts.
Yeah, it's just I don't like the picking and choosing. I think if you're gonna do it for one person, do it for everyone. Or if you're gonna do it for the champ, do it for all the champs.
Yeah, let them all pick. Maybe they're all okay with the champ colors, the black and the gold. But it'd be fun to go crazy. Like, I was stressing out just because I wanted to wear red pants last time I fought. But then they were like, okay, well, you have to pick a country to represent. And I'm like, America. We have red in our flag. It's the first one. It's the first color. Red, white, and blue. Why? Why y'all trying to make this complicated? Like, yeah, so it's funny how some people are able to
see. That's what I don't like, because that
even when they're not champions,
that creates a divide. It creates competition, and I feel like we should be championing each other.
We should all just be able to choose colors. It's so simple. And that's kind of what they said they were going to do when they first introduced Reebok. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They were saying, "Oh, everyone's going to be able to customize their own fight kits and pick what colors they want and do this and that." That'll never happen. We get a choice: black, blue, or white. I don't know why black.
That's not in the flag.
It's because I'm black, isn't it?
Oh, wait.
You can wear that color, Missy. Oh, Dana did say that Brendan Allen could have purple pants in the press conference, though. He was like really suggestible that day. So I feel like we need to get our press passes so we can ask Dana for stuff.
Yeah, we're getting our signature blue color.
Yeah, that would be fun.
The Two Straws Tiffany bluish green aqua color that we
it's
have.
Like a teal almost.
Yeah,
but more of a
nice.
sky blue teal.
Yeah, it's very nice.
It pops off my skin too. I like wearing that.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
It's my Aquarian color. So I like it. Yeah.
I would like an all gold fight kit, but not like the UFC 200 canvas because that was horrible.
It was yellow.
It was like pea yellow, but I want like metallic gold, just the entire thing. I want to look like the Silver Surfer, only gold.
You want to look like one of those like Asian diner cats?
Yes, and that could be my walkout. Just be like, so lucky.
What about that walkout dance?
Oh yes. So that was another thing Dana said that he didn't like in the press. And I'm like, yo,
he said that?
Lighten up. Yeah, he was mad about that. And he was mad about the MVP walkout. That was a little long, but
it was long-winded.
It was a little long, but I did like the contrast between his walkout and Kevin Holland's. Like his took like 20 minutes. Holland was like zip right in there.
He was like, keep it under one.
Yeah, he didn't want to lose his glisten from the warm up, so he was right in there, ready to go.
Yeah, that was a little much.
I did like that fight, that little dance though. I thought it was really cute. I always wanted to do that for a fight, but I feel like I'd be too nervous.
It was so well executed.
It was really good.
It was really good.
And then he went on and got a knockout. That was Michel Pereira. He went and got a knockout. Really nasty knockout.
A really fast one.
It was really good. Like he was throwing stab kicks. He was just kind of floating into him, and then he threw this huge body shot. And I think the stab kick set it up. But dude, that guy was hurting, and he just jumped on and got the rear naked. It was really cool to watch. And whenever I see someone just flow from one move to the next, I'm like, they were loose in there. And I think it's because of the dance number.
Yeah, it could have been. It could have been. I feel like that was his whole backstage warm up was like the dance routine. Did not hit one mitt.
It was so cute too. It was like I love how like kind of amateur it looked, but then it also looked professional at the same time. There were like moments. Good. There were different levels of difficulty. It was like I could do this part, but then I couldn't do the floor stuff and the leg shuffling and yeah.
I wonder who choreographed it.
I wonder. I was really impressed though. So you weren't a fan of the MVP walkout?
No.
Were you a fan of the fight?
I always thought it was going to be a fun fight.
Okay.
And again, that was one of my picks where I was not betting with my heart because I wanted Kevin Holland to win.
Yeah.
But I thought that MVP was going to show up and he was going to make it a really tough fight, which he does. He's so unorthodox. Mm-hmm. He has such a unique way of moving and striking. And every time he threw, like he was bouncing, moving, and then like shot putting in with the big right and then the step behind knee.
That was really cool.
That was money. He kept going back to the well with it too. And it was landing every single time.
Yeah, that was a really cool move. I videotaped that because I want to put it in my playbook
repertoire.
My repertoire. We've been doing something like that. Like it's one of the Phil takedowns where it's like a 2-step in double leg, but he was doing it without. And it's kind of like how Phil shows us. Like he always says, you can just use your body to trip him over the leg. You don't need to use your leg or your hands on their knees. You can just use your body to trip them over that knee, but then the hands help. And the way MVP was doing it, he was just bop, bop, just like a demonstration of how to move your body. He's just really aware of where he is in the cage. And that's super unnerving to fight. Someone who's that aware, who's that confident too. And I think it's similar to the O'Malley thing where he got to build his style off a lot of lesser competition in Bellator and get some really, really nasty knockouts. Like I feel like if Kevin Holland had the same kind of build up that MVP had, and it wasn't on purpose. It was just he was levels better than the people that he's gotten those nasty knockouts over. But I think if Holland had similar fights like that, you could see that he would just come in with a really confident style because it just looked like a more refined version of what Kevin Holland does. Aside from the like low hands and everything, Holland likes to come in with like, you know, the karate style with just the kind of free form movement and but shut up. And
filming a podcast here.
And MVP was just able to do it a little faster, a little more confident, and a little better. So it was interesting to see that matchup. It was really good matchmaking, I thought, because it gave you a good sense of where MVP was in this whole welterweight mix. And I know it was good matchmaking style-wise, but when it comes to personality, I wish it was someone else. I wish it was someone I didn't like as much as Kevin Holland because he just seems like such a cool dude.
He seems really cool.
And
He's
I love
super entertaining.
Like little shit like him talking in the cage. Watched the press on that MVP did, and he said what he said to him in the cage. Remember we saw it and we are like, I wonder what he's saying.
Yeah.
He was like, "Hey, you're a little slippery." And MVP is like, "You're slippery. You were slippery too." And Holland goes, "Must have been that black people cocoa butter." And I'm like, ah. You're not supposed to say that in a press conference, first of all. Don't tell them our secrets. We're just trying not to be ashy in there. That's the only reason we do that. It's not for an unfair advantage. But I thought it was cute that he's just like kind of messing around. He does the most adorable shit talk in the cage. I feel like Kevin Holland does.
He's one of those personalities that can get away with it.
Yeah.
Anybody else does it, they're a freaking dickhead. But he does it, and I'm like, oh.
You're just trying to have a good time.
Yeah, that's just him.
And we're all having a good time now. It's not just me, or it's not just you. We're all enjoying this conversation while we try to fight each other.
I just want them to mic him while he's fighting.
Yeah, right.
Because I want to know.
That'd be really good. Well, I think all the COVID fights, that's where he really showed how crazy he is in there because you could hear it. There was no one there. Yeah.
Yeah, they need to mic him. Somehow there needs to be a mic somewhere on him.
Just braid it into his cornrows somehow.
There we go. There we go.
I don't know. Put in his gloves. Something. We need to hear it.
Yeah.
We need to hear it. Then the co-main was pretty insane. One of my Duelbits picks Dustin Porier got the KO. I was super happy about it. But I was kind of surprised at his approach with all the guillotines.
I was screaming at the TV for him to pull guard. I was like, just jump it. You grab it in the neck, just jump it. And he did. He didn't get it, but he jumped.
He went for it. And that's funny because you're probably the only person who went in to pull guard. He said all of his coaches and his teammates are like, don't do that. It was a very Jessica move.
I saw an opening.
Yeah.
And I figured, you know what? If you really want it, you really commit to it and you might get it.
You got to go get it. He got it deep a few times too. I was flipping out. Like everyone in the bar was flipping out every time he locked it in. The first few didn't look that close, but the last one when he had the arm, the high elbow, oof, I thought he was going to get it.
It's really funny. It reminds me of like every white belt who learns the guillotine first and then that's all they want to do in class and the teacher and their coach is like, okay, no more.
What have I done?
Stop.
I've created a monster.
Stop trying to make it a thing. And he just kept doing it. And he's so talented. He's so high level. So, I mean, he obviously, felt and saw something in there, but it just seemed not quite as strategic.
He was forcing it. He just wanted it really bad.
He really wanted a submission.
I feel like he told someone to put a bet on him to win via guillotine, and he was just like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make a lot of money.
I'm going to get
it.
And
then, unfortunately, he knocked him out. But they'll still get the money off of the finish.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I was really happy about that, especially because Benoit Saint Denis, he's like one of the new guard people coming up. It was a big deal for Dustin to fight down because losing to a guy like that can take him out of title contention.
It's a huge risk.
The rest of his career.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of the older fighters. He's been up in the top 5 for a while. And it was cool of him to take that fight, but also... yeah, it just shows what a G he is for being able to do it and then come out on top, just trusting his abilities and beat someone who's just been slogging everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What'd you think about there's another one that made me sad. Gilbert Burns versus Jack Della Maddalena. Another new guard versus old guard fight.
It's one of those. I'm a fan of Della Maddalena.
Oh, are you?
I think he's been. Okay. I think he's been making like a name for himself, and he's been really impressive. I love watching his boxing. He has good grappling. He's just. I really enjoy watching him fight. He's super clean, but I'm a huge Gilbert Burns fans too. So I wasn't super happy, but I also was like.
You weren't surprised, motherfuckers?
Yes.
No. Well, I was. You might have been surprised that Gilbert was tooling him in the first 2 rounds.
No, Gilbert is he's a veteran. Mm-hmm. He always shows up to fight. He's always well conditioned. He's always on one. I just saw that Della Maddalena. Okay.
Oh, you're such a fan.
I know. I'm always trying to trip over people's names, all of them.
Jack. You guys are super
Jack.
Close.
Jack Della.
You guys are super close.
We're on a first name basis.
He goes by JD. Yeah, me and JD, been following closely.
I just saw him like really having the advantage with the boxing and with the angles.
Yeah.
And he had some really impressive scrambles too, because Gilbert was getting in on those doubles and he was not necessarily conceding. He was like creating really cool, almost like female fighter type scrambles. And I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't mean that in a bad way.
No, because we like female fighters, unlike some people.
But yes. There were some unorthodox scrambles, and I was like, I really enjoy those.
No, it was cool. I think a lot of people were surprised, me including, just because he had a split decision versus Basil Hafez, and he's supposed to be like, a decent grappler, but not the best. So you have someone like Gilbert Burns coming in, and he's proven on, grappling stages to beat some of the best in the world, and he's transitioned that into MMA. So you felt like if he got his hands on JD, then he was gonna have his way with him. And he's obviously been working on his scrambles, been working on, just getting kind of loose in there. And that's a part of MMA that's really hard to learn once you're on the big stage, once you already made it to that level, because everyone's just game planning against you. They have like all the best resources and stuff. And for him to just get weird in there and just kind of understand where to scramble, where to explode, where the outs are, it's like something you can't really learn by, okay, this is how you defend the rear naked. This is how you escape the back. This is how you escape the mount. He just had to understand grappling better, and that's what he did against Gilbert. He just really was able to pick places where he could rest. There was like that one time where he was on a single leg and he kind of grabbed his leg and kept himself from being taken down right away, and then that weird scramble against the fence right before the big knee. So he just had a really great understanding of where he was, and that's why he was able to get that comeback win. It was real cool to watch. Like and it's like, even if he hadn't done that, I'd be saying that guy has a high ceiling just because of all the trouble he put Gilbert in before he got taken down. But being able to come back and get that win, like, that dude's going fire.
For sure.
And I was like, yo, that's proof that he's more legit than Khamzat Chimaev.
Yes.
Like, that guy got exposed by Gilbert Burns.
And what about freaking Bilal, who was, sitting in the audience? He couldn't put Gilbert away, and Gilbert had like a messed up shoulder.
Yeah.
And couldn't even like fight
first round,
even close
right?
to 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Y'all better watch out.
I know. He's a sleeper. He's coming up.
Yeah, Jess's friend JD is coming after you, spot.
My guy. You know who else was fun to watch? Another one of my boys who's not my boys, Petr Yan.
Oh, yeah.
He was really impressive. And he's another notorious short, slow starter.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit worried in the first round when he was going up against Song, because Song just looked huge and explosive and just on point. But Jan's like veteranness just started showing.
Yeah.
And I loved the scrambles. I loved his boxing. He was just doing like really, really impressive controls on the ground. And he started taking
Songs Yadong.
He just, started taking him into a place of discomfort. And I think he started like really dismantling him, and Song it just took it out of him.
Yeah, because he came on strong, Song did. I was like, I don't know if it's the blonde hair, but he is acting like he is the shit right now.
And he was super cheeky at weigh-ins.
Oh, was he?
He was talking a lot of shit.
Yo, why is it always the blondes, man? It's always the blondes.
Always the blondes with the attitude.
Do you think the
no
Yadong matches the curtains?
I don't think so.
I don't think he bleached it.
I don't think so, but you should ask him.
I should. I'm going to slide into his DMs.
Please slide away.
Just for the podcast, for journalism, I would like to know. I do feel like he was trying to come out as this new persona and new type of fighter, and the way that he was super aggressive in the beginning of the fight. I was like, yo, this guy is trying to prove something to everyone. But then I don't think you could keep up with that, And also Petr Yan came in with a game plan too, and he was very determined to get back in there, get back in the conversation. He was on the 3-fight skid, but it was 2 to Aljo, the ones that we talked about earlier, and then
O'Malley,
another one we talked about. I feel
like they're like kind of not really losses, like they kind of don't count.
There's some Angela Hill split decision losses.
Yeah,
like they're not.
There's some weird ones.
There's some weird ones right there. There's some like let's talk to who's really scoring the fight losses. At least the O'Malley one for sure. But obviously DQ was his fault. But still, it was unfortunate. So I think he got that mojo back in him when he was kind of not really excited about fighting. It seemed like after his last loss, after the O'Malley one, it seemed like we might have lost him,
I mean, it's a possibility. You don't know how somebody's going to like come back after those things. Sometimes they show up and sometimes it gets to them,
Yeah. So I was happy for Petr Yan just because of that, because I don't know. It's not the same without him, the bantamweight division.
No, he's a staple. He's just like, I didn't see too many of them. He's so good at shifting, back and forth, in and out of stance. His takedown timing was on point, as it usually is. I
was impressed with Song's takedowns too. Like he was just like grabbing the leg and just kind of scooping it up, just trying to manhandle him. But Yan was ready for all that.
Yeah, Yan is a really solid fighter. There's really no wasted movement with him. He's very impressive to watch. He has great defense. He has great hands, kicks, grappling. I think he's the total package.
Yeah, he's got it all. It's like if your daughter was dating an MMA fighter, you'd want her to date someone like that.
Class act
Just has everything and then some. Yeah, well, what else happened that night?
I think we should pause and then come back after our break.
Yeah.
For our exclusive content.
Yeah, and our exclusive content. Let's talk about some of those crazy things that happened in the prelims. Some people in the audience, some of the craziness that went down. And, you're going to have to tune in to listen to all that.
We'll be back.
Bye.